Hello, welcome back to Intro to Android Development. Welcome to the optional lectures. This week we're going to be talking about Git and GitHub. These are going to be not just important for development in Android, but important for development for the rest of your career. If you plan to stay in CS, you really want to continue developing. You really want to learn Git and GitHub. So few quick announcements. Hack Challenge will start on November 30th. And we're going to start giving idea and team formation from the November the 25th to that date. So start thinking about some ideas, start thinking about maybe even who you want to work with, if you know anyone else in those classes. We're going to get you all set up with a Discord or whatnot. And yeah, look forward to that. We're going to get all of that set up soon. It's going to be all after semifinals. So yeah, enjoy. Also, welcome to Intro to Android Development, the extra topics. We're out of homework now, and it's just going to be learning about things that will help you through both the hack challenge and in development beyond. So let's get started with one of the most important components of computer science these days, Git. For all of you who don't know how to use Git yet, that's perfectly fine. But for all of you who do, you'll know that it's a version control system. It's something that keeps track of all the modifications, that have been done to the code. Gone are the days when you have different versions of something like copying, pasting it, and naming it. This is certainly the final one. Last one. Totally the last one. No, we have version control systems for that. It'll keep track of all these modifications. It was developed by Linus Torvalds. If you don't know that name, you really should. This guy is the guy behind Git and also behind the Linux kernel, the foundation of Linux, the operating system, and Android, and so many other things. Linux kernel is running all the time on so many devices, and he's won the Millennium Prize, I believe. Like these are like the Nobel Prizes for computer science. He is one of the greats. And in that sense, Git, the version control system, open source, everything, it is instrumental in team coding. It is a fundamentally important part of developing with a team because you're not just working on your own. You're working with many people, and to have them working at the same time as you need to know what changes are being made where. So some common Git commands, and Leslie will run through more of these in the demo, but I'm just going to give you some starters. Git init. This is to initialize Git. This will turn the current folder into a Git repository. Repositories are what Git refers to as the places where it's keeping track of code. And like the folder, essentially. Git add will add files to be tracked by version control. You do git add dot if you want to add everything in the folder. Git commit. A commit is a snapshot of the repository at that point, a finalizing of the changes to essentially and converts them into a snapshot of that point that you can go back to, refer to, and even revert out and to just remove those changes all in one go. Git diff is to show the changes between the current state and the last commit. It is to use to find differences between things, and then Git branch is to create separate timelines for the repository, so you can work on things that off the main. Essentially, branches. There's a main branch. It used to be called master, now it's called main, where you branch off of it, and where essentially that is the center of the tree, essentially, and then you can create timelines off of it that you work on things based on that code, and then you send it back. This doesn't sound very interesting unless you're working with multiple people, in which case this person works on one feature in a separate branch, this person works on another, and then you all merge it back into the original and without running into too many problems. This is how you can work simultaneously on the same code without getting in each other's way. It's a brilliant system that you have to get used to. Yeah, Git is a powerful, powerful tool, as is the thing that we've pretty much has almost become synonymous with Git, which is GitHub. GitHub is a online code hosting platform. It is not Git itself. It is a hub for Git, as the name suggests. It is an online code hosting platform for repositories. It is the largest collaboration platform for code in the world. And it's free to use forever. It was acquired by Microsoft in 2018. And since then, and even before then, and since then, it has been the de facto place where people will collaborate on code. Is the Google Drive code. You will be able to essentially massive projects stay on GitHub, and people contribute to it from all across the world. As can you. It has a bunch of cool features. So it allows for graphical browsing of your GitHub repositories. So any Git repository that you've uploaded will just be, in there. You can, from a website, look at all the code, go through it, look at all the code, different branches. It allows for team collaboration through issue trackers, Kanban boards, and pull requests. And it also is a place to display your projects. It's a lovely portfolio site for programmers where you can essentially showcase all of your projects. And it will even host your associated websites for free. So there is something called GitHub Hosting, essentially. It's through github.io, the subdomain. Anyone can have their projects be online as a website as well. It'll take a GitHub repo that has an index.html and pretend it's a website and run it as a website. And it's amazing for people who want to just set up either a project website or even a personal portfolio. It's free hosting. And even beyond that, there's GitHub Desktop, which is their desktop GUI for doing Git things, which allows you to essentially do a lot of the things you do in the Git command line, but visually for people who, want an easier learning curve in, and is, even as a programmer, even as an experienced programmer, an excellent way just to do some quick Git things and to be able to look and quickly see the state of a repository. It's a lovely tool. I'm going to demo it, and then we're going to hand off to Leslie for the command line demo. So let's get to that. So we're here with GitHub Desktop. It's a really simple Git client. It doesn't actually have most of the advanced features that Git provides, but it has enough that it makes it really convenient for people who are just starting to learn. So here's GitHub Desktop. This is on a pretty large repository, Polo for Android by Cornell AppDev. This is our open source iClicker client that we're setting up to replace iClicker. And you'll see here on GitHub, the website, you can, it's pretty nice. It lets you have essentially an online folder of code. And to essentially bring that code onto your computer, just click download the code either as a zip file, the URL for when you're doing it through the command line, or you can open it with the desktop client. And it would link you to that. It would otherwise open this. This is my desktop desktop client. And from here, I can, do things. You'll see that there are a bunch of branches that you can, essentially different timelines that you've set up. It'll tell you when was the last thing that changed on it, when, what, and the name of the branch. And you can essentially jump to any of these points in time, back in time in the code. You can also see what code has been written in these commits. When you set up a commit, it'll give you all the changes that have been made to the code in that time. So red on GitHub, red indicates lines that have been removed, yellow indicates lines that have been added, and it's also indicated on the side. And you can immediately see a quick glance of what code has been changed. This is super powerful. The desktop client super powerful. You can turn a folder into a repository immediately by just going to a folder and setting up something. This is the same action as Git init. You can clone a repository from online, browse the online repositories you have, and pull it down to your computer. And yeah, it's a really powerful, tiny little client that allows you to go through, change things, which will show up here, commit them. Like I have some changes here for things on the branch. I have some changes here that I don't want to commit, but essentially I can pull them in here. These will tell you what kind of things you've changed. You'd set up the commit name. So bash changes, and then you'd create these are, condense all these changes down and attempt to scale it with the rest of your code that's been done since. I'm not going to because I haven't pulled from this repository in a very long time. In addition to that, GitHub also has a bunch of other amazing little features. So you can set up, like right now it's hosting all your code, which is by itself amazing. It also can tell you, you can also use to track issues. So you can set issues and use it to track what else you need to do. There's a projects board that allows you to organize more things by what you need to do, and pull requests, which is to bring something from one branch into another. This is a GitHub feature. So Shirley here has implemented session refresh. And here are the commits of those extra changes she's made to the code. And you can see what files have been changed and exactly what has been changed. When this gets merged in, this will go into the main code and become a part of it. And you can see how many people working on different things can work on many different parts of the code and then bring it all together as one. This is less obvious on like a smaller project like this, but let's come down to the .NET. This is the Visual Studio. This is Visual Studio 2019. This is the open source compiler for it, known as Roslyn. And you'll notice that hundreds of people are working on this at the same time. And they're making changes to the IDE, the Visual Studio's front end. They're making changes to the compiler behind it. And they're all bringing this together as one into the main project all the time. You can track all the issues and filter by issues on different parts of the project. It's an essential tool in these larger projects, and even on these smaller ones where you're just, collaborating with a few teammates. Yeah, this stuff all becomes incredibly powerful. And the more you get into this, the more you also realize that there are other tools. Like if you change something a while back and you've changed it since, you can cherry pick changes called Git cherry pick out from old code and bring it into your current code. It's so very powerful, and you'll see that in Leslie's demo.
Oh, hi guys, welcome to the second part of the demo. Hopefully Kevin shows you guys how to use Git and GitHub through the desktop app, and I'll be showing you how to do roughly the same things through the terminal. So this is the terminal that I will be using. On Windows, this is called PowerShell, but on Mac, I think it's just called Terminal or Command Prompt. Okay, so let me cd out. Usually when I create a repo for the first time, I don't actually create it in a terminal, I create it on the website. So we'll just do that right now. I navigate to GitHub, there is a green button on the side that just says new. And that you can just like follow through the instructions. I'm gonna call it CDJ Facebook Messenger. You can keep it public and can add several things like a git ignore, a readme, or a license. For right now, I don't want any of these things, so we'll just leave it blank. Okay, so now you come to this page. What is really nice is that they already have like a set of instructions that you can use. But what we want to do is that we just want to copy this message right here, this clone message, and we want to clone it into our workspace. So let me just start off at my home directory. I'm not quite sure what the directory URL is called in Mac computers, but in Windows, usually you're within your own personal directory that says your name, and you want to navigate to your workspace directory. So this can be anything. This can be like your documents folder or like your desktop. But in my case, I have a separate workspace folder that I want to navigate to. So you just do CD where you want to navigate to. And you can also do ls to see where you're at. And if you do ls, it'll show you the list of all the files and folders within your current URL's location. So now I just want to do git clone and the message that we copied. And it should already be cloned. So we open up our window explorer or whatever it's called in Mac, and we just navigate to it. Let's see. I called it CDJ Messenger, Facebook Messenger. Nice. So now you'll see we have an empty folder. This is where I start working on my project. So in this case, I am going to create a new file. Oh, I don't know what this is, so we're going to ignore it. So let's close this. And I'm going to create a new file. So it's going to copy over some code. As you guys can see, this is not an Android project, but I figured that since I have to create a GitHub repo anyways for another one of my projects, we can just kill two birds with one stone. But the process is the same regardless if it's an Android project or like a non-Android project. So I'm just going to quickly set up this. Let's see, there is body and then HTML. Okay, so once you create your file, you want to save it. And I'm just going to call it index.html. You want to navigate to the new folder that you created. So in our case, it's CDJ Facebook Messenger. And I just want to save it. Okay, let me fix this, actually. Okay, so now that we go back to our terminal, let's cd into the new folder we created. So that's CDJ. And you do ls. You'll see that our new file is now in there. And then to check like what is going on just with Git in general, we can do Git Status. And this will tell us that we're currently on branch master, which makes sense. So this is a master branch that you always start off with. There are no commits, and we have a file, and it says it's untracked and it's red. This means that we haven't saved these changes to a commit or to like the global repository on the web. So there's kind of two places that your commits can live in. Basically, to save your work, you create a commit. But you don't necessarily have to push your commits immediately to the website. So it could be that you want to create a lot of small changes first before you push all of it online. Or it could be that you're unsure if your changes mesh well with other people's changes. So you want to keep it locally. So in our case, we want to add this change online. To do that, you can do git add and a file name. And if you do git status again, you'll see that it is now green. This means that the changes have been added and like GitHub is currently tracking it, or Git is currently tracking it. We can also do Git Add Period, and this adds all the files that we have changed. Normally, this is sort of a dangerous move, especially with Android, because you can accidentally change a lot of files just indirectly when you do things with Android, and you may not want to push all of them. So Git Add Period might push a lot of unwanted files onto GitHub. So generally, I would just like to do Git Add and a file name. And then to create a commit, you can do, or actually, we can also do another one. I think we can do Git diff. Or no, we can't because we already committed. We can also unstage a file by doing git rm cached, and we just follow the instructions here. So that'll be index.html, git status, and now we can see it's unstaged again. So we do git diff. But I guess it doesn't do anything. That's fine. Hopefully I'll be able to show you what git diff does later. But we'll just do git add again, and then we'll create a commit. So you want to do git commit -m and the commit message. So let's just do added index.html file. Also, I apologize for the small font and how difficult it is to read my terminal. Unfortunately, I can't change how it looks because this is Windows. So you now have git commit, which is nice. And then you can also do git log to see what our commit messages are. So in this case, we only have one commit message, and it tells us who the author is, when it was created, and the title of the message. You can also amend your commit message. So in the event that I don't like this commit message, I can do git commit amend. And then it brings us back to this interactive window. This is actually Vim on Windows. I'm not quite sure what it is on Mac. It might also be Vim. So it's a little different in terms of navigating, but basically you would do Shift I, and that means insert, and now you can edit the text. So you can go up and down. In our case, maybe we want to change our message, so we can just do added initial files. And then to save it, you would do escape. So that means that you're done editing your files. And then you would do WQ for write and then quit. So now we do git log. You'll see that our commit message has changed. And then finally, to push your changes to the internet, you would just do git push. Nice. Okay, so let's go back and see what it looks like. Currently, you can see that there is no code. We're in a code tab. There's nothing here. We'll refresh it. And then now you'll see that our changes have been pushed right here. If you want to see your list of commits, you can go to the commit button on the side, and you can see them here. Cool. So basically, if all you want to be able to do is to just make changes and push them to the internet, all you need is Git Pull and Git Push. So in our case, we don't need to pull any information because this is a new repository, but I can go to another repository and kind of show you what it does with Git Pull. So let's see, what's a good one to go to? I'll go to Eatery, so git cd Eatery. Let me make sure that there's no changes here. Nice. Now we can do Git Pull. And GitHub will show you all the new files that they have updated. So in our case, there's a lot of new files that are updated, which is cool. And we can also do Git Branch here. And it'll show you all the branches that we have. So branching is important for the most part. You might not necessarily need it for a hack challenge. Basically, branching allows people to work separately on GitHub, and it allows people to avoid merge conflicts. So you can imagine that if maybe one person or two people were making changes on the same file and they push at the same time, there can be a lot of merge conflicts, especially you're working with the same code. And to avoid that, you can work on separate branches and then create pull requests where you can later push the information into the master branch. So you can see in our case that there is actually a ton of branches in Eatery. And I can show you really quickly how to create branches just in GitHub itself, or just with Git, not GitHub. So let me cd out of Eatery and cd into the repository I made earlier. You can see in our case we have no branches, or actually we do have a branch. We're currently on a master branch. And to create a new branch, we can do git branch -m. I want to do Leslie test branch. Generally, it's a good convention to put your name first / the description of your branch, but obviously that's like not required. Okay, so we'll do Git Status, and we'll see that now we are on our new branch. So let me make an edit to this file. So let me just write var x equals to 5. And those are all the changes I'll make. I'll quickly push this. So git status, git diff. Okay, so this time we can use git diff. So git diff basically shows you all the different changes you have made to your files that aren't currently committed. So in our case, we can see that there are some indenting changes. We have our new line that we added. And this is a good way to check to see if you want to commit a certain file because you might not remember what file you changed. So in our case, yes, we want to commit this file. So git commit, let's commit all of them. Oh, sorry, we have to add it first. So git add all of them, git commit. Let's see, new changes. And then git push. So I'll just copy and paste this line that they give me. Let's copy it. And then let's go back to GitHub. So we'll refresh. We'll see that we have new changes that are pushed. So we check our index file. You'll notice that the changes we made in our branch doesn't show up on master. And this is what we want. So we want our changes to be like totally separate from each other until we make our pull request. So you can actually navigate to all the different branches. This is one way to navigate to the different branches. So I can click on my own branch. And you'll now see the new changes that I have made. And to create a pull request, what you do is that you go to pull requests. You do compare pull requests. And you want to hopefully write a meaningful message. So in our case, we'll just write meaningful message. And then, cool, it says able to merge. And usually below your pull request, you can see the changes that you have made to make sure that these are the right changes to push. So you can see that it almost looks like our terminal window that we have here, but in a prettier form. So it kind of looks like what we have here, like this. And I won't create the pull request in this repo just because I have to use it for another project. But I can show you what a pull request looks like. So I'll go to, I'll go to a pull request that has been made in the past. And I'll just borrow Adam's pull request. So you can see that he left a very lengthy and meaningful message. And what's really nice is that he also included a UI screenshot so we can see the changes that he has made. And then you can see below, it tells you all the new commits he has. Because they're named the same thing, we can actually squash these. We can squash these commits, which we'll talk about later. But you can make comments, and within the comments, you can highlight certain parts of the code, which is really nice. And you can also write a comment. Before the branch was restored, I can also write a comment as well. Okay, nice. So basically, I talked about the main parts about how to use GitHub that will be useful for the hack challenge. Oh, I closed something by accident. But I'll talk about some more advanced tools or advanced commands you can use within Git. This might be useful if you're making a lot of changes or you're working with a lot of people, or if you're working in like a more professional setting where you have to worry a lot about your commit messages and like how you're actually pushing things. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to the project that I previously made. My new repository, let's see. Okay. So I'm gonna make a lot of commits. So let's do 3. And I want to commit these changes. So git add. Let's see, git status. Git. Oh, let me save it first. Let's do git add, git commit, commit 2. And then I'm going to do another one. So let's do z equals to 4. Git commit, and I'm going to do small changes. And maybe I'll do another one. Git add, git commit, or whatever. I'm just gonna type gibberish. Okay. So let's say I made a lot of small commits. This could be that I forgot to include something in my last commit, or it could be that I made a typo and I want to fix it really quickly. So we check our git log. You'll see that we have all these small commits, but these aren't really meaningful messages, and we go inside of them. They have like very few changes. So in this case, I actually want to combine all my commits into one so that's more meaningful. And it's also easier to like go through my commits in case something needs to be reverted. So in this case, I can do something called git rebase -i for interactive. I do head, and let's see, let's count how many commits I want to include. So I want to do 1, 2, 3. Let's do 3. So head, I want to do the squiggly thing, and then 3. Okay, so this will open up the interactive window. This is Vim. And this interactive window is like super powerful. You can see all the commands you have available here, and there's actually a lot. What's really cool is that you can reword your commits, you can edit them, you can squash them, fix up. But in our case, we just want to squash our commits. So again, let's do escape I, and now I want to squash my commits. So let me change this one to squash. And then I want to pick the first commit. So I want everything to squash into commit 2. So I will do escape because I'm done editing, colon, oh, excuse me, escape. Oh my god, wait, that's not what I want. Squash, okay. Now, colon W, right? Right quit. And let's wait. Okay, now we open up a new window. And I want to just comment out two of the commit messages. So if I leave it as is, my commit message will be all 3 of these messages combined, but I don't want that. So I'm just going to do I again, and I'm going to comment these out because I don't want them. And then I want to just do, let's delete this and let's change it to something more meaningful. So we can do initialized variables. Escape, colon WQ. Nice, so it says it has successfully rebased and updated. We can get status, git log. Now we can see in our git log, our 3 commits have been squashed into just one. So that's really nice. Now we can just push, git push. Oh, I want to push it to my branch. So let's push it. Okay, now let's just say I squash my commit messages, but I actually want to undo this action. Like I totally messed up. Something that I can do is git reflog. And what reflog does is that it shows you all the possible actions you have done so far. So in our case, it shows us that we have made several commits. We also made our branch, and we have rebased. But let's say I want to redo this rebase, or I want to undo it. So I actually want to navigate back to this commit right here. So I copy this message, and I can do git reset hard and the SHA number. So normally I'm really scared to do this because once you reset it, you may not be able to navigate back to it, or it's like really difficult to navigate back. But if you know that you don't want these changes and you definitely want to reset, then definitely use git reset hard. So in our case, hi, this is what we want. Nice. Git log. So git log. And now when you go back to our git log, we'll see that our 3 commits have came back. Nice. Another thing that we can do is that we can actually git cherry pick. So I'll do git cherry pick. Let's do this commit right here. Oh, never mind. Okay, so I personally don't have a lot of experience with git cherry pick, and I think I used it wrong in this case. But basically what git cherry pick allows you to do is that it allows you to basically cherry pick out a commit and apply it to your branch. So I think this is actually more useful if you are working on your local branch and there are new changes added to master that currently aren't on your branch. You can cherry pick out those commits and move it onto your own branch. So let's just go ahead and try to simulate this. So I'm going to navigate back to master. So Git Check Out is how you move branches. Master. And now we're on new branch master. You can see that the changes here, there are no changes. So let me just make a change. I'll do git let new variable equal to test. This might be good enough actually. And then let's create our commit. So git add git commit added new variable. Okay, and let's do git push. Okay, now let's check out our old branch. So let's do git check out. Oh, what were my branches called? Let's do git branch. Git check out Leslie test branch. Okay, we can do git pull to pull the new changes. And then now you'll see we have a merge conflict. So at first, when I was working with Git, I was really scared of merge conflicts because this can be the part where you can accidentally delete code and you almost cannot recover them unless you worked on separate branches. But they're not too difficult to understand. So you always have a head and so I'll start over. So a merge conflict is always split into 2 parts. You have a top part separated by a row of equal signs and then a bottom part. So the top part is what already existed in your code base, and the bottom part are the new changes coming in. And you can decide how you want to tackle this. So maybe in one case you want to discard all your changes and just replace it with the new change. Maybe you don't want the new change and you just want to keep your old changes. But in our case, we want both of them. So we'll just delete this equal sign, delete this row right here, and delete this right here. And I'll save it. I'm not sure why it does that. Okay. So we do Git Status. It'll say that we're currently trying to merge. So we have diverge. And I can do Git Add because I modified it. Git Commit, merge files, and then we can do Git Push. Or actually, before we do Git Push, we'll do Git Log, and you'll see that we have now a new commit that lies on top that merged all the files. Then Git Push. Oh, they were rejected. Git Pull. Git Push. Okay, nice. Now it should be push. Nice. So let me refresh. And nice, now we have merged our files. Okay, I think that might roughly be it. Yeah, I guess like another thing I'll show you is that just on your project, if you want to enforce pull requests, I think there's a way to do it. So PR pull request. Okay, I guess it's not here. But yeah, so that's basically it. I say in general, as long as you know how to Git pull and Git push and you're working on separate branches, you should be able to separate the work correctly so that you can allow for asynchronous workflows. But yeah, hopefully this is helpful for the hack challenge, and we're super excited to see what you create.